Welcome to day 2 of my daily Tour Divide updates. Let's have a little look at track leaders and see what's been going on overnight. So currently we're 1 day, 18 hours into the race, as you can see. And at the moment, out front, the leader is Justinas Leveka. He was, of course, second last year. And he's made a bit of a push. In actual fact, the MH dot here, if you don't know, is the current record, or the current official record set by Mike Hall of 13 days, 23 hours. Of course, we all know Lachlan Morton set a 12.5 day time on the route last year, but that's not been put down as an official record because there were some route deviations, and he was being filmed. I know the comments are probably going to explode out about that, but I think it was a great ride by Lachlan, just for the record. But in this context, Mike still has a record, and that's his dot there. And Justinas, as you can see, is closing in on it. But that doesn't really give us the full picture. It's kind of the same story in the women's race as well. Megan Hakkinen took a lead from Anna Jaeger, but they have both now stopped in Whitefish. And you may remember that yesterday, or the first few days, there was a chase pack a pack of 3 riders: Justinas, Ulrich Bartholomew, and Lawrence Tandam, and they've dropped back a bit, but they've got a very different sleeping strategy, and this is something that's going to become clearer over the next few days. But yeah, there's some different tactics going on. If we look at the race flow, you can see that Justinas hasn't really stopped very much. It looks like he might be stopping now for a little bit. But Lawrence and Ulrich both stopped in Whitefish. I'll just go over our GPS. It's a bit clearer. You can see the towns. Columbia Falls. There's 2 towns, Whitefish and Columbia Falls. So Whitefish is where the 2 women's leaders, Anna and Megan, have stopped. And then the guys stopped over in Columbia Falls, again, quite early. They stopped at 7 p.m. on the first night. And it looks like they've done a similar thing on this particular section, because after this there's not really much in this remote section. It does run parallel to the highway, but you're in the woods. It feels quite lonely on this section. There's not much there at all, not really many places to shelter. And then you've got Richmond Peak, which is this section here. You can see, if I highlight it on the map, you can see it's a big old climb before you drop down into Ovando and then on towards Lincoln. So I suspect again, Lawrence and Ulrich are playing it conservative, and there was a few comments yesterday saying, do you think they've taken Lachlan's 12-day ride from last year and using that as a template? I'd say yeah, there's a fair chance. So rest just makes you ride faster, and I think Lachlan, he stopped a lot in motels and hotels. He didn't camp an awful lot, and I think he's set a precedence now for the kind of pace you can set, especially given the weather. I'll show you some social media in a while, showing some of the scenes, but it sounds like we've got there's a storm front coming in. So if I put the radar on here, if it loads up, it's been a bit slow today. You can see that there's some big clouds coming through, and they're going to be hitting this high ground where the riders are going through. So it might be sensible to take that rest when they can, and then be fresher and be able to push through the bad weather, with more energy. So before I go any further, I've got a few reports from both Megan and Justinas, some audio reports. But before I go there, I just want to say thank you to Redshift. Obviously, they are sponsoring my coverage. I'm very grateful for them. They obviously do a range of bike components. These suspension seat posts, I've been using them for a while. This is their new one. So they've got a range, different seat posts at different price points, different features on there. So if you want to find out more, check out their website. I've actually got a discount code as well, so you can see that in the comments, in the description. So yeah, a big thank you to those guys for supporting what I'm doing here. So let's now go and listen to some reports. So I've got some riders out there who are going to be sending me audio reports as and when they can, and Justinas is one of them. So he sent me a report just entering Whitefish yesterday, and it's given us a bit of an indication of what the conditions like. I did think there might be some snow up high on Whitefish or Red Meadow, but let's see what Justinas says, and it sounds like it wasn't actually too bad.
Everything is easy, rideable. It snowed in the Red Meadows when I was passing it. Other than that,
So yeah, sounds like actually it's been quite rideable, and there's not really been much hiking through the snow. So yeah, it's relatively fast going, I'd say. Obviously conditions suck, but it sounds like the ground conditions are meaning these riders aren't being held up too much, providing they can deal with the inclement weather. So let's hear what Megan said about the second day as well. This is a message forwarded on by Mel, who runs Detours podcast. So thank you for that. She's doing Megan's social media during the event. But she's sharing the updates. So this is what Megan had to say.
Day 2 of the Tour Divide. It was outrageous, both in an awesome way and a very challenging way. I encountered the wall, which is literally like this really steep wall going up Galton Pass. And then there was snow and slush at the top of the pass because a winter storm front has moved in, even though it's almost summer solstice. I rode with a bunch of different people. I had a lot of fun. There were some amazing views, and I geared up for the slushy descent really well because I got to practice on the buckshot. And then I did 5 passes today and accumulated more than 5,000 meters of elevation. So not bad, not bad.
So there we go. That's Megan. She sounds in pretty good spirits. She's currently in Whitefish, as I said. So I think it's about 1 a.m. local time as I record this. So the women's race is looking like a bit of a 2-horse race at the moment. So we've got Megan and we've got Anna, and we've got a very similar kind of story or scenario to the front of the men's race as well. So Megan, she seems to have stopped more in hotels and is maybe riding faster during the day. Anna, she was the fastest woman in 2022 and very experienced. She seems to be taking more of an approach of camping out a bit more and having more moving time and a bit less stop time. And she kind of catches up in the evening, as you can see here. So I suspect in the morning that Megan might end up starting before Anna and get a gap again, and then it might close. So that's going to be really interesting to look at over the coming days. The same as the men's field. We mentioned Liam Glenn as well. I know he's got camping gear with him. He's packing a little bit heavier than some of the other guys. So it looks like he's camping out after Columbia Falls. Looks like there's a few little places down the bottom here before you get too remote. So yeah, he's a bit more flexible with where he stops. And again, I think he's going to be very strong and consistent over the course of the race. So it's going to be interesting to see how this ebb and flow goes over the coming days. I suspect once we get out of Montana, it's going to be a bit more, it's a bit clearer, which is the best way to ride this. However, the weather is really supposed to be pretty bad in the next few days. It's really supposed to set in. You can see, I think that the sort of the rule of thumb is that if you get through Montana on the Tour Divide, then you can finish it, because a lot of the steep climbs are there. You can see just from the profile. You can see if I highlight it, that's pretty much Montana there, up and down all the time, steep climbs compared to the rest of it where there's sort of longer climbs and they're more spaced out. You're further north, so the conditions can be pretty bad, as we're going to see on this divide by the looks of it. Obviously up high, you're going to get snow if you're not careful, and there might still be snow on Richmond Peak. So we'll just have to see how it goes, and I'll hopefully get some reports over the next few days. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this pans out. So before I finish, I've just got a few some social media. So this looks like Coco Claims. So there's Dylan Desario. So where is he at the moment? He was right up there. Looks like he's dropped back a little bit. But anyway, so he's shared these. So that looks like Coco Claims. A bit of snow on the top, wet and slushy. Looks like there's been a bit of melt. Again, a little bit of mud on the tracks, but it didn't seem like it was too bad. And then the weather fronts come in. So this is before Galton Pass. It kind of drags out along before you hit the pass for real. And you can see there's fresh snow. Doesn't look like there's much standing snow, but those conditions are grim and cold. And that section, in my experience, has always been quite cold. Cabin Pass particularly so. I've always been pretty cold on that one. And then Dirty Dan Connell, he's still right up there as well. This is from the first day, and actually you can see the sun's out. It's almost summer solstice, as Megan said in her message. So when the sun's out, it's quite warm, and things do dry out. So it looks like the conditions were fairly fast rolling. Although I did hear there was a bit of a headwind on that day one, which caused a few issues. So yeah, it's not been too bad. I wouldn't say the opening days of this divide. But I think the test is yet to come, and we can see Liam Yates here. So let's have a look. So here's day 1, 4,000 meters climbing. Saw a bear out there, very common in that area, and this is what we're looking at. I think this is cabin pass, and blizzards coming in, ground conditions a bit stickier, and that's the wall of the Galton Wall, right at the bottom of Galton Pass that Megan also mentioned in her voice note. Essentially, it's a really steep hiker bike. It's very short, but it just does take quite a lot of effort, and if it's raining, it's going to be quite slippery. So hopefully everyone gets over there okay. And it looks like Liam stayed in Eureka last night. Again, taking the sensible option maybe. So give all those guys a follow over on Instagram. It's a good place to get messages, and I'm sure as the race progresses and people relax a bit and the weather improves, we'll see more and more content coming out of Instagram, and hopefully I'll get some more voice messages for you. So that's my day 2 roundup. Thanks for watching. Again, check out Redshift. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to get every single day's update, and I'll see you again in the morning. Thanks for watching.